Oh look, it's Quinn Cody.
Ready to go.
We are doing it.
We are doing it. Heading for Mexico, heading for Dakar. Hi guys, I'm Quinn Cody from KTM R&D. We're down here in Baja with Upshift Online, and we're doing kind of our impromptu personalized press introduction for the bike. We've got 5 890s down here and with a bunch of guys, and we're just down here riding and checking out all the features of the new bike and having a good time. So I've been working on the 890 for the past couple years on the development side, and clearly it started with the development of the 790 back in 2015, 2016, and then our latest kind of refined version of the 790 is the 890, and clearly the first thing you notice is more horsepower, more cc's. Some of that is due to stricter European emissions regulations. So one of the big factors in deciding to go with the 890cc engine is that with Euro 5 coming in, we have to release a bike that has better performance, more horsepower, but still meets the stricter emissions regulations. So that was a big factor. Also, there's quite a bit of refinement and updates and kind of dialing in that we wanted to do with the 790 to make the bike a little bit more durable, a little more off-road capable, and also just kind of give it the latest and greatest of electronics and things like that. The biggest change to the bike is obviously the 890cc engine. It gives the engine a lot more torque and a much more responsive, torquey feel. Overall, makes the bike much more rideable. We've increased the mass on the crankshaft and to I think it's nearly 20% more weight on the crankshaft. So what that does is it just gives it a smoother power delivery and a lot more bottom end torque. So maybe where the 790 was lacking a little bit on the bottom and you would struggle to get up some tricky rocky climbs, the 890 really has the torque to pull you through that stuff. Also, you know, we've done some stuff as far as handling, where we went to an aluminum steering stem from a steel stem, and it just gives the bike a little bit more sharper handling characteristic, and you have a little better front end feel with that. Also, the durability is better there. We have a new fiber clutch plate material and a little bit different design, so the clutch is quite a bit more durable on the 890. And we've gone with a lighter subframe, which just to kind of counteract some of the weight that we had to add with the larger displacement engine, where we shaved a couple pounds off the subframe to kind of balance things out. And then probably the highlight for me is the electronics package. We have a whole new electronics system from Bosch, and if you've ridden a 790, you know that it has what's called rally mode with an adjustable traction control. So you have 9 levels of traction control. And with the 890, Bosch created a whole new system for us, and we were actually able to fine-tune the traction control and the slip levels. So you now have a perfect traction control setting for every surface. So you can ride in deep sand dunes, you can ride in mud and everything else, and really dial the traction control in to your needs and what you want as a rider. And it really gives you amazing control over the power delivery of the bike with a very soft, smooth, linear intervention, so you get no hard cut, and it really is the most advanced off-road traction control system on the market. I first started testing with the 890 about 2 years ago. So we put 890 engine straight into a 790 chassis and just kind of started the development process in plain sight. So we were riding the 890 around in 790 disguise, I guess you would say. And I started last year, we started a project to race the National Hare and Hound Series on what we told everyone was a 790 adventure. It was actually an 890 adventure. We built up a race bike that was quite special, and you know, we went out and they created a new twin cylinder class for the Hare and Hound Series, and we went out and won the championship on that bike. And that's actually the very same bike that I'm riding down here this week. So super versatile. We took it from a complete race bike, and I'm down here adventuring with these guys with full luggage and, you know, just enjoying myself. So it really shows the versatility, and you know, that was kind of part of the development process, was racing the bike and going to the extreme end of things to prove the durability of the engine and the chassis and everything else. So we've seen a lot of growth with the mid-class, and clearly people are wanting to buy smaller adventures, and you know, maybe not wanting to ride the big 1200cc bikes, and kind of want something in the middle that they can take off-road and feel comfortable, like they're not going to tip over. And the 890 really kind of fills that gap. And what we're seeing now is a lot more off-road guys coming over to the adventure side, rather than early on it was more, the adventure guy was more of a street guy who wanted to go explore off-road. But with the 890 and the 790, we've developed a mid-class bike that really kind of appeals to the off-road guys. So guys that have raced motocross for years and ridden off-road, dual sport, things like that, are now coming to the mid-class platform and riding these bikes and loving it, having a great time. And I don't know if it's a direct replacement for a dual sport bike, because there's a lot of places that you're not going to take a twin cylinder motorcycle where you can take it, but maybe it's not the best idea. So I think you still need a 500 EXC in your stable and definitely an 890 adventure to be, you know, fully versatile for off-road riding. Kind of in between, I guess, our mid-class twin cylinder bikes and our 500 EXC, 350 EXC dual sports, we still have the 690 Enduro, which has been updated very recently. So I think up to 2019 we had a brand new platform there, and that's a great bike. It's been a really popular seller for us, and it has a really loyal, committed following, because it kind of falls somewhere in between the big twin cylinder and then the smaller, more enduro style EXC bikes. So you know, we see a lot of guys really enjoying themselves on the 690s, and they're great bikes for kind of a all-around dual sport, dual purpose bike. I grew up as an off-road racer in Southern California, really, and what that means is that, you know, you start out racing in the desert, because we have massive deserts in Southern California. So I started out racing in District 37, things like that, and then eventually discovered Baja. And you know, it always appealed to me, racing in Baja, because it was so wild and unknown, and you had to be really self-sufficient and kind of be able to come down here and spend 2 weeks pre-running and learning the course, and you had to be able to problem solve, and it was just kind of a big, crazy adventure at the time. So it always really appealed to me. And then, you know, I had success racing with Honda down here, and then I went on to race with KTM on the factory 690 team, and later on the factory 450. And you know, from there I transitioned kind of into, after winning Baja, it was, what's the next challenge was racing Dakar. So I went and raced Dakar in 2011 and 2012. I finished 9th my first year, and then crashed out the second year in spectacular fashion. And then I spent a lot of time. I had gone back to Dakar as a navigator for BJ Baldwin in a car, and you know, spent a lot of time working, training with people on road books and things like that. And so that's kind of been a passion of mine. And somewhere along the lines during the Dakar time, I discovered the big twin-cylinder adventure bikes, and I had a KTM 990 Adventure, and so I'd spent a lot of time working and riding on those bikes. And as my professional racing career was winding down, it was kind of time to look at getting a real job. And so KTM approached me in 2016 about taking on the US R&D role for street product. And of course, at KTM, street product is mostly off-road adventure bikes, and we do some work with the Duke models and things like that, some testing. But they wanted to develop an off-road testing program in North America, because it's really difficult for the guys in Europe to do proper off-road testing. They don't have deserts to ride in and things like that. So they really wanted to kind of create a test group in North America. And our customers are different in North America, and the usage of the product is much different. So we spent the last 5 years kind of building this R&D program in North America, and it's been very successful. The 790 Adventure was kind of our first bike that we developed or worked on the development of from start to finish. And Austria is really happy with the way things are going, and I think it works very well for us to be able to perform all these tests and have a hand in the development of all the new product. So the 890s that we're riding down here are, they range from completely stock to slightly modified. And at KTM we have a whole line of PG&A, which is parts, garments, accessories, I guess I should say to the normal person. But our power parts line is, we have off-road wheel sets, and we offer kit suspension, so the WP Pro Components kit suspension, which kind of upgrades the suspension and gives you a kind of another level of confidence when you're taking on trips like this. And so that's another thing that we work with in R&D, is developing these technical accessories for the bikes and testing and things like that. And so this is a perfect testing ground. I have some stuff on my bike right now that I'm testing for future release, and there's so many accessories to kind of dial these bikes in, and it's really I think one of the most enjoyable things for the adventure customer is all the stuff and all the modifications that you can make and things that you can do to dial your bike in and customize it for what your intended usage. So guys, I think that's it. Quinn Cody here, signing off from Gonzaga Bay, and I think we're gonna take these Upshift guys down south a little ways and see if we can do a little exploration and maybe get lost, maybe get stuck in the sand. We'll see how it goes.